Hey friends, it's Becky with Bountifully Blessed, and I know it has been a hot minute since I have been on my channel. Lastly, I think most of us at this point have at least hopefully found out that we are expecting our miracle baby. I am 30 weeks as of yesterday, and we are extremely excited. We had our last ultrasound that is needed yesterday, and our baby girl is looking absolutely wonderful. So we are very excited, but as you can imagine, I've been missing for a while because pregnancy has just not been my friend. My gardening season has kind of just fallen apart this year, and honestly, this has just not quite been the year that I was expecting. So it's been wonderful, don't get me wrong, but it has definitely taken me for a whirlwind. Not what I was expecting at all. So, long story short, I was really excited to have my garlic. I was looking forward to harvesting that this month, but I had a lot of weird things happen with it. Last year when I planted it, we are still in an apartment complex, so our maintenance guy is just so extremely helpful. He's wonderful, but he didn't realize that he was hurting my garden. And last year, when I actually planted my garlic, I had covered it with a very huge amount of leaves to mulch it. And by the time I had gone out to check on it when we were expecting snow, leaves were gone. And unfortunately, he had removed all the leaves. He had cleaned out the entire garden area that was provided for us, and that was one of the things that ended up getting the hit. So I wasn't too worried about it. It was my first garlic season, and what ended up happening is we have had very, very unusual weather this year. So we had a lot of highs, a lot of lows. Our temperatures have just gone up and down. And what ended up happening was I would start to get a large amount of garlic that started coming up this spring, which was so encouraging. I thought we must have killed it all. And we did end up having a decent amount of garlic start to come up, but then it would die off because we'd have this huge amount of garlic that was coming up, and then we just have a big cold front come through, and it would knock it down. Well, I thought that when it knocked it down that they would just regrow. I thought it was just the top layer, but that was not the case. And unfortunately, the majority of my garlic actually ended up getting completely destroyed by the frost because of the dramatic change in the weather. And I ended up having 3 fairly decent garlic stalks that were coming up, and I was so excited. And it was the only thing that was really keeping me going out into my garden, just because pregnancy has really just kicked me in the pants. And I went out there last month, and I can only assume it was probably my maintenance guy again. He usually goes through and cleans up the garden space, whacks down weeds, all that kind of stuff. And all the weeds had been taken care of, and my garlic had been completely ripped out of the dirt that it was in. So the 3 heads that I was expecting are no more. So that was really disheartening. But I also had started my garlic seeds out, or I'm sorry, I started all of my seedlings this year. I've been doing that for the last 3 years. I had my tomatoes. I had, let's see, I had peppers, a couple different varieties, and I was so excited. And it was just very obvious that it was not my year. I was so excited to show you guys the progress of those seedlings, and instead what ended up happening is I had a lot of really, really odd anomalies. No idea why, with all of my seedlings. They had the same kind of conditions that they've always been. I was not thrilled with the soil that I had. That was really, really discouraging for me. Um, and so my seedlings, they came up for the most part. I had a few that were just really struggling, and the soil that I had was just subpar. The soil I've usually gotten in the last couple of years, they put a lot of filler in it, and there was a lot of thick, like bark pieces in there, wood chips, all that kind of stuff. And I could not get anything to grow properly. Well, what ended up happening is every single one of my tomatoes and my peppers, except for one plant out of all of them, actually ended up growing very unusually. I've never seen them do this before. But they ended up growing. They would get their set of true leaves, and then they were either stunted and they wouldn't grow anything else, which I can attribute to my soil potentially. But then one of the weirdest things is my tomatoes, except for one variety, which was the Jubilee tomatoes. I grew those last year. For some odd reason, they would get like a single true leaf, or I would get maybe two, and then they wouldn't grow. There was nothing left. Like, it literally looked like they were trying to be a full plant. Like, their stalks, the stems and everything were getting really, really thick and hardy still. The whole plant itself was still growing and maturing, except for the fact that it would have like two true leaves on it, and that was it. I actually had one that had just its seedling leaves, and that was it. And it got really, really thick and hardy, but it didn't produce anything other than the seedling leaves. It was really bizarre. So I took that as just another thing where I was like, okay, I started things a little later this year. My garlic ended up kind of just getting destroyed, which was really discouraging. And then just nothing was growing. And I was like, okay, you know what? It's been really hard for me to get stuff done around the house. It's been really hard for me to work. And so I just attributed that to, okay, this is a gardening season that we're going to have off. And that was hard for me to accept at first. But it has been a big, big help because I would not have been able to keep up with going outside and being in the sunshine, and just dealing with all of that. And so it ended up being a hidden blessing. But it is a little discouraging. So we'll see if I end up getting to do a fall garden potentially. We are due in September, and so we will see what exactly happens there. uh, what what we can really do with the potential of a fall garden. My biggest thing that I think I'm mostly discouraged by is I really want to make baby food. And not that that is off the table, because obviously I can still go get food, but I wanted to grow it. And so ideally, I would love to be able to maybe start some seeds directly sown into the ground after our heat. We've had a lot of really hot weather. We've been in the hundreds again, which has been really rough. And that's kind of been the way it has been even last year. Even September, we were hitting hundreds. And so hopefully we will not have to deal with that as well. But who knows? Not me. So we will just kind of play that by ear. And worst case scenario, we will go to the store. We will buy at farmers markets because it is going to be fall time. And I can get some good quality food to make some baby food, which I'm excited about. Obviously, I know that baby's not just going to come out of the womb ready to eat solids by any means, but my plan is to have all of those things already ready to go and made, frozen, because gardening season will obviously start by the time she's old enough to be eating those foods. And so ideally, I would like to be set up to at least have some of that handy and not have to buy those things at the store if I can avoid it. So that is my goal. So there's kind of a mini update with the garden. Just wasn't my year, and that's okay. So as you can see, we are in a different environment. If you go back and look at my video that I posted in January this year, which is just mind-boggling to me, this was just a space that was a closet. It was just a big closet, and we've had a total transformation. It is definitely not done by any means, but been slowly getting things organized. This is turning into baby's nursery, and I couldn't be more excited. Very, very blessed, to say the least. So, kind of a mini nursery vlog, if you want to call it that. Again, it is definitely not ready by any means. We are, like I said, 30 weeks. So here is our baby girl. She's doing wonderfully. Fun little bump there. There is no hiding that secret. But just kind of a little bit of a mini update. Most people probably don't know us quite well enough, but I'd love to be able to share a little bit more about us. So my little gist here. So we have these are gnomes. That is actually how I told Josh that I was expecting. So that's quite fun. Those are gonna be put away here soon. And then I've just got kind of an overview of baskets, just kind of a couple of things to get us going. I've got some postpartum care things I got from our baby shower, books we got from our baby shower that are all in here, some cute little toys. I will have to share those with you. My mom made some of the cutest things for baby that are gardening friendly, so I'll have to share those with you. We have this lovely boho rack with all of her bows, which she still has more than is actually on here. Obviously, we have our rocker, which I'm extremely excited about. This was a request from me, this blanket here, so absolutely fabulous. And so that was a big request I had that my mom made for us. And so this is just kind of a mix of a lot of different things we got from our nursery, or I'm sorry, from our baby shower. So we have our mini crib, which is wonderful in this space. I've got all of her baby clothes all set aside so I can get those all washed. We have our muslin cloths and sheets and mattress protectors and all the things. We've got some fun miscellaneous things, which I will have so much fun going over all that with you at a later date. This is all bibs. And that's just encouraging by itself. This bin is full of all kinds of cute little blankets. And then, don't mind my hokey setup here, but this is our changing station here. We'll see what comes of a different thing here. This is something we've had for a while. And then just some cute little decor piece that I actually asked my mom to make. Loving it. And then this corner, we've got these lanterns. They're definitely not in exact position yet, but I've been trying to kind of get a feel for how I want them to look. And then we've got this beautiful, huge section up here that is just for organizing things. This space is absolutely incredible. We are very blessed, to say the least. So it's kind of a basic nursery overview and a little bit of an update, but hopefully here soon I will be bringing out a nesting video for you guys. I'm gonna get everything nice and cleaned up, and we're gonna wash everything, sterilize everything. We've got just so many things, it's unreal. And we are very, very blessed, to say the least. We've just been overwhelmed with all of the gifts and the encouragement that has come from this miracle child for us. So, quite an adventure. We definitely have a lot left to do, but I'm excited to feel good enough to start bringing you guys on this adventure. It has definitely been a whirlwind for me, but now that we are well into the third trimester, we have about 10 weeks left, and even though I am hurting and I am sore, this is definitely where I have been so far feeling my best. So I'm excited to be back and to bring you back into our lives a little bit and just show you what all is going on with our little girl here. So we are quite excited about that. So hopefully you guys can be held over a little bit now that it has been a minute since I've got a chance to post. But we will be hopefully bringing out some videos here a lot more frequently and a lot sooner. And that is my goal now that we are getting into all of this prep stage of having a newborn in the house. So we are very excited. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I pray that you are bountifully blessed. Till next time.